want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
We are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
Your home for healthy masculinity. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
And we're live.
Hey, I am Kirk M. Samuels.
And I am Jason B. Kendrick.
And we are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
For you, these are conversations that we normally have on a golf course or a bowling alley or cigar lounge. Or
we're just letting you in behind the curtain. You get to see behind the curtain. You get to see all the dirtiness and all the stuff behind the curtain. We're just letting you in.
That's right. These are conversations. Sometimes 4 men, sometimes 2 men. But there's 2 guys having conversations that don't normally get had on the open airwaves. You know, shout out KLDC 1220 AM in the Mile High City. Shout out Crawford Broadcasting. You know, support local radio people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody and their grandmama got a podcast. You know, everybody and their grandmama want to be paying for radio in the car. And all. Support local radio.
It's free, man. It comes in on your radio. All you got to do is just turn the dial, man. Just turn the dial. And yes, there's AM and FM. Remember, there's not just one. Or for a lot of you kids now, it's like there's not just streaming. Yeah. It comes free. It's over the airwaves, over the air.
As far as I know, all cars still come with a radio. As far as I know. They don't come with 8 tracks no more like they used to.
Man, 8
or even
tracks.
Cassettes. But, you know, they don't even have CD players no more.
I know a lot of them don't. You got to have MP3 or, you know, USB or nowadays it's just Bluetooth. Yeah.
Use Bluetooth everything, man.
That's all right, though. I mean, the hands-free is cool.
Speaking of hands-free.
Wait a minute. Where you going with it? Wait. Where you going with that?
Awkward transition
that was
ever.
That
most awkward segue
you triggered me with that transition. I don't know where you're going about with hands-free.
Awkward segue ever is us talking about Father's Day.
Father's Day,
hands-free. Because, you know, Father's Day, we hold up our hands like, look, you know. Look,
I don't,
you know,
yeah.
Look. First of all, you know, is it mine? No, I'm kidding. But, you know,
you had to go there right away.
You know, yeah, not to go right away. But, you know, dude, it's time for us to step this thing up, like for real. I mean, you know, we don't really script what we're going to talk about.
Never.
I think right out of the gate, man, you know, it's time to step this thing up. For as much as I hear people want to talk over and over again about stuff going both ways, it goes both ways. It goes both ways. Guess what? As big a deal as we make for Mother's Day, we should be making at least half, 3/4, or the same big a deal for Father's Day, because none of us would be here without a male, and if nothing else, his genetics. And if you have a father in your life, a father that's your significant other to their kids, a father to your kids, your father, a sibling that's a father, if you know anybody that's a father in your life, they should be ridiculously and overwhelmingly celebrated on Father's Day.
Yeah, especially nowadays. I mean, we talk so much about the lack of fathers in the home and all the divorce rates and all these different things. So if you have a father in your purview, in your circle, celebrate that man. And okay, caveat, a father with human children. We're not talking about dogs and cats and fishes. A father with human children in your circle, celebrate that man. Yeah. Now, other caveat, ladies, you know how we talk about how men and women communicate differently. Men are more direct. So when he says, I don't want to do nothing but hang out with you, or I just want to, you know, go to dinner or whatever, don't go in your head. Oh, wait, he wants a surprise party. Oh, he wants to do this. No, he just told you what he wanted. So let's celebrate Father's Day by doing what the fathers want.
And we normally we're pretty easy. You know, normally we're pretty easy to, you know, to satisfy. That's probably how a lot of us became fathers.
Just saying.
But you know, it don't take a lot, you know, but it does take something, you know, and it should not be an afterthought. It should not be something that's like, oh yeah, what do you want to do tomorrow? You know, I mean, put some thought into that thing. You know, what does he like? You know what he likes. Does he like golf? Does he like cigars? Does he like, you know, whatever? I don't know. Hennessy? I don't know. Just kidding. But what does he like? I mean, does he like, you know, sports? Well, what does he like? I mean, does he like nothing? Does he like, you know, hanging out and just downtime? I mean, it's really not hard to satisfy the guy, but we got to put some effort into this thing.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, to that point, sometimes the best Father's Day gift you can give is to get the kids, get out the house for the whole day and let that man just chill. No responsibilities, no honey-do list, you know, get him a pizza and some beer, whatever it is he likes, and just let him have a day. Let him have a day of no responsibility, a day of just doing whatever silly, you know, if he wants to play video games, he wants to watch the game and whatever it is, just allow him to do whatever. because sometimes that's all a man really wants is just a day to relax and just be himself with no responsibilities, because the rest of the time it's all about bringing home the bacon, slaying the dragon, taking care of the kids, doing all these different things. So allowing the man to have some space and allowing him to have whatever it is he wants, and I've seen this before. And sometimes it's, okay, ladies, talking to you again. Sometimes you're wanting to do something special for him is counter to what he actually wants. And it's not about turning Father's Day into your day or a family day. It's Father's Day. Just like on Mother's Day, you get what you want. We go jump through all the hoops and you tell us what you want and we do that. Do the same thing for him. If he says, I want nothing, I want no responsibilities, I just want to chill, make that happen. Make it so, number one.
And a lot of times, literally just chilling, just nothing is. No, I'm not saying don't do nothing. I'm saying his request might be nothing. I mean, his request might be, I just want to sit around. I just want to sit on the back porch. If it's in Colorado, it's probably going to be raining. That's all it's been doing lately.
Hey, it's green though. It looks like Hawaii out there.
It does look like Ireland or Seattle or something. I don't know. But if he just wants to sit around and do nothing, if he wants to watch TV, if he wants to watch NASCAR, I don't know, whatever his thing is, it might be nothing. But, to him, that nothing might be something, because if he's a good man, then he's the pillar of the house. If he's a good man, he's the long pole in the tent and he holds up everything, right? If he's a good man, he's out, like you said, slaying the dragons all day, every day. He's out there making things happen. He's thinking, he's doing all the things that he doesn't get credit for the rest of the year. I mean, he's doing all the things that, kid makes a highlight reel and walks up to the TV and says, hi, Mom. Et cetera, et cetera. But so there's a lot of things that he doesn't get. If he wants to get just nothing, let him have just nothing and let that be okay. But listen to him, ask him and listen to him. And honor whatever it is that he wants, even if it's nothing, because sometimes just a nap is something, just a down day is something. If you believe in the Bible, God made the whole planet Earth, everything in 6 days, and what did he do on the last day? He rested. He ain't do nothing. He was chilling. And so, I mean, if a guy wants to do nothing, let him do nothing, but honor that. But if he wants to do something, maybe he wants to go out to eat, or maybe he wants to whatever. I mean, send him out to go play golf with his buddies. I mean, that is okay too, but honor what he wants, and even if that want is nothing.
Yeah, and honoring what a man's request is respect to that man. So you're giving him one of his core needs in that relationship. And believe me, if this is your man that's in your marriage, in your relationship with the kids and everything, like everything else like that, he knows the game, he knows the score. So he may only ask for half a day. He's like, I know I got to spend time with my wife and the kids and whatnot, but so maybe he just wants the morning off or the afternoon off, but allow him, listen to what he says and acknowledge that. So many times, because men and women communicate differently and ladies are much more subtle and it's much more nuanced, they'll think that because the man says, oh, nothing, she's thinking like when her girlfriend says nothing, and so that means something. But a man's favorite place in his brain is his nothing box. And I know that drives you ladies crazy, but there's a nothing box in a man's brain, and that's his favorite place to be. So when he's like, when you ask him what is he thinking about, and he says nothing, he's in his nothing box. He's content. And so what he's asking is time to spend a longer amount of time on Father's Day in his nothing box, because that's where he recharges. That's where he gets to just kind of not have to worry about nothing. And that's the whole point of nothing box. All the things that he has to do every day, worrying about the kids and the work and the house and the yard and bills and all these different things, whatever his list of things is, he wants to get to nothing. I don't want to worry about nothing. And that's why we say nothing. Nothing's a good thing.
Did you come up with a nothing box?
No, I actually learned about the nothing box.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's like a real thing?
It's a real thing because men are compartmentalized. There's actually there's a YouTube video that's hilarious. You can find it, but how men and women think differently. And men have boxes. So there's the work box, there's the family box, there's the kid box, there's the sport box, there's the car box, all these
box, the job box,
all the different boxes, and everything's separate and organized. Like when you go into your grandpa's or your dad's garage and everything's all the tools are die cut, and there's a silhouette around him and everything's organized. That's his box. That's how he likes to have his boxes, organized and everything else. But when on that same video, the guy was talking about the ladies, and ladies is like, you got the guys with the boxes, and the ladies looks like spaghetti. Everything's connected to everything. And it looks like, the Christmas lights on New Year's Day, just all jumbled up and tangled together with lights going off everywhere. And so we telling you that literally there's a nothing box, and men like to be in their nothing box.
Yeah.
A lot.
You know, and along with that, I think there's an appreciation box.
Yes.
I think men have an appreciation box that we don't normally get into a whole lot. It's the place where we don't get to go, we don't get to hang out. You know, another great thing in the back of your mind in terms of this Father's Day, appreciate the man, appreciate a father, find a father somewhere that you know, and just say you appreciate him. Men show up where they're appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Men have a tendency to show up in places where they're appreciated. If he's not appreciated, he's probably going to find reasons or find excuses to not show up in that place. But if you want him to gravitate to some place, i.e., where you are, or the home of the family, or whatever it is, appreciate the man. So find a father this Father's Day and appreciate him. Literally, just it takes not a whole lot to just say, I appreciate you. If you get him a Father's Day card, write in the card, I appreciate you. I respect you. I appreciate you. Maybe respect is another box. But these kind of things are not complicated, but at the same time, they get overlooked in terms of the whole Father's Day mentality or celebration or approach or whatever that is. But putting some time and effort and some significance into the things that are significant to a man's time is important, and it's something that we should bring into practice on this Father's Day.
Absolutely. I mean, and respect and appreciation are love languages to men, just over, across the board. For most of us, that's just how we are. So appreciate that man for all the little things he does, because most of us go slay dragons and are the pillars and do all the stuff we're supposed to do. And because we're expected to do those things, we don't ask for appreciation. We don't ask for any sort of acknowledgement. And so when you give acknowledgement, what you appreciate appreciates. Ladies, if you like what he's doing, appreciate that. I guarantee you he'll do it some more, because we're like dogs. You give us a bone, scratch us behind the ear, we're going to want to do whatever it was that got us that bone and that scratch. So appreciate us for what we do, and then we'll do more of that. That's what I think the issue is a lot of times in modern relationships. There's lack of appreciation on both sides. We're not appreciating each other for our differences and the different things we bring to the relationship. And so we're just saying now for Father's Day, especially because of the epidemic of a lack of fathers being appreciated and respected and shown love, go out of your way. It's time for us to, like we do Veterans Day we just had and Memorial Day and all these different things. It's time to go out of our way to say, hey, dads, we appreciate you.
You probably got them by appreciating them. You probably got them by celebrating them. How you keep them is to appreciate them, and how you keep them is to celebrate them. All the things that you did to get them. Because probably in the beginning, unless a man just wants something, he's probably not going to, like I said, run or gravitate to some place where he's not appreciated, where he's not celebrated. So the way you got him is the way you keep him. And I'm telling you, this is a great opportunity here on Father's Day to recognize that man and to make it a big deal for once in America. Hey, let's take a break. Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC, 1220 AM. We'll be right back. Boom.
Caught me off guard. You're premature.
Am I?
Just a little bit.
It says 12:18 up there. 13.
Yeah, well, yeah. You're good. I was gonna try to say something, but
bad,
just
man.
cut me off. Whatever.
My bad, man.
It ain't my show.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Forgive me, man. Forgive me.
Why you be rolling your
my
eyes,
nothing
man?
box.
I'll go to my nothing box. Nothing.
All right.
And we're back.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Men of Masculinity,
Mhm.
KLDC,
Mhm.
12:20 AM in the Mile High City. We're talking about Father's Day, y'all.
Father's Day. I cut you off, man. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I don't even remember what I was going to say now. It was just
no, that's I ain't saying it now, man. Could be on. I ain't saying it now, man. No.
See, that's what happens.
Take your little break. Fine. I ain't saying what I was going to say now. Forget
That's
all
all right.
that, man.
That's all right.
But do you think a lot of money needs to be spent for Father's Day?
No, actually, I think for most fathers, the less money you spend, the happier that man's going to be.
Ooh.
He's tired of you being in his pocket. He's tired of being an ATM. You know why your dad's favorite mug is that beat up pottery mug that the kids made in craft class that says #1 dad, because it didn't cost him nothing. So, of course, granted, I'm going to say that might go dad to dad. Some dads might want to be like, no, throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's go spend some money. Let's go to the casino. But I think for most dads, especially if they're working hard, taking care of the family, they're probably like, no, the cheaper the better.
I tell you what's happened to me on more than one occasion. I had to pay for Father's Day.
See, that's just rude.
I had to pay for Father's Day breakfast or lunch or dinner or whatever it was.
Hey, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. When their check come, everybody's sitting there like, all of a sudden everybody's sitting there like somebody smelt something, like, whoever smelt it dealt it kind of thing. I'm like, oh, for real? It's like that up in this joint, man. I mean, so that's not cool at all. That's not cool at all. I got a challenge thing.
Yeah.
Ladies, if your baby daddy is taking the kids on Father's Day, the kids on Father's Day, how about you encourage your kids to do something for their father, and or encourage them to pay for their father for Father's Day lunch or dinner or whatever it is. If nothing else, write them a little handwritten card or whatever. But how about you encourage your kids and kind of point them in the direction of celebrating and honoring their father, especially if they're going to spend Father's Day with their kid. I mean, because that probably means you have some shared parenting time. That's not some deadbeat out there. By the way, there's not a whole lot of deadbeat dads. I mean, there are some, I'm not saying there's none, but the whole stigma of the deadbeat dad, I'm telling you, dads today, and I know a lot of them, I know a lot of single dads meaning dads, who are divorced and whatever. I know a lot of dads, younger and older, all different races, sizes, colors, ages, economic, whatever. And generally speaking today, more often than not, men care about their kids. I'll tell you that I would think there's way more disgruntled ex-wives than there are bad dads, meaning that the dads aren't as bad as the ex-wife describes them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's going to tick some people off.
Yeah, but I mean that's the truth. I mean, you're going to tick people off with the truth, but I mean, to your point, so many dads nowadays who have been divorced or they had their kids out of wedlock, whatever the situation is, so many dads today have to work so much harder to be in their kids' lives that it's like, that's why we're saying celebrate Father's Day, celebrate those fathers out there, because I have so many friends who have gotten divorced and it wasn't their idea, and they've had to fight in the court system to have any kind of attention or any kind of time with their kids. And so if you don't think that you talk about deadbeat dads, is that sure, there's some. But for the most part, most dads are fighting to be in their children's lives. And that's why we say celebrate fatherhood, celebrate fathers, and appreciate them. Because if they're in a relationship, it's actually easier for them. If they're still with their baby mama, they're still, got with their wife and their kids, they're there in the house. But if they're single dads out of the house after a divorce, they're fighting to have time with their kids.
I know a lot of dads who have been in this. I've been in that situation where I was told, no, you ain't seeing your kids. And I had to go to court just to get legal separation, just to get parenting time, just to also begin to pay child support, like on purpose, like intentionally.
Yeah.
I mean, and I tell you what, man, there's stuff that, that maybe my mom knows that my kids will never know. Like in terms of, what I had to do just to be in their lives to the degree I was in their lives. And they might think I wasn't hardly there, but or I wasn't there enough, but I will tell you that, I had to fight for the little time I was there. And so there's a lot of dads out there, and, we're going to give them credit. We're going to give all of y'all credit. And all of y'all that are listening out there, all you good dads, we're going to give you credit right now. We appreciate you and celebrate you for your happy Father's Day. And some of y'all, I know you scratch and kick and scream just to have some kind of role in your kids' lives, your sons, your daughters' lives. You probably get a bad rap because they probably hear all kinds of negative stuff from their mom. These are the things that happen that we don't talk about in our culture. These are the things that exist in the parenting dynamic, especially with, broken houses and relationships and all that kind of stuff. And those dads don't always get celebrated because those dads are seen as the bad guy. And so, all of those dads, deserve some kind of recognition, because there's a lot of y'all out there who, were just like, or were just like I was way back in the day, where I had to literally fight in court just to have time with my kids.
Yeah, and it's not a level playing field when it comes to the court systems. It's not really fair, but we don't argue about fair. We don't care about fair. We know the life's not fair. We just deal with it and fight and do what we have to do. And I mean, for a lot of us in our generation, because of how we grew up, because of our either lack of a father being in the home or him being in the home and absentee or not being emotionally available or not being a great example, a lot of us want to fix that. We want to heal that generational trauma. We want to be the best fathers we can be. And having something like Father's Day actually be celebrated, actually be looked at as a celebration of fathers and not just oh, Dad, here's a tie and a neckerchief or whatever. We appreciate it. We know it's not a materialistic thing for most dads. It's not advertised as, oh, take Dad out to this and that like it is for Mother's Day or Valentine's Day or all the other days. But it is time to appreciate those fathers that are out there and appreciate the ones who are trying to change the generational traumas, who are trying to be the best fathers they can be, whether it's in a relationship, whether they're single dads, whether, whatever their situation is. They really want to be better than their fathers or the generation before them or however they grew up. And so having some appreciation during Father's Day, and that's why we're telling not just the ladies, guys, appreciate that your friends, tell your guy friends like, hey, happy Father's Day, man. You're doing good, because there's a lot of fathers out there, and we know quite a few that are, white knuckling it and struggling and doing the best they can. And a little bit of appreciation goes a long way. A little bit of sunlight, a little bit of rain on their head will, help them bloom and feel better about the fact that they're doing all they can to be the best father they can be.
A lot of us feel like the only good we are is a paycheck, or not even a paycheck, but a check, period. A lot of us, and I'm talking real, like I'm talking, this is stuff again that we don't talk about. And a lot of times, a lot of us just feel like our only value is that check that we write or that gets direct deposited or whatever it is every single month, month in and month out, through that family support registry. And it's like, well, wait a minute, you don't want me in your life, but you need my money, right? And so really it boils down to that. And it feels like, anyway, that is my only value. This is the conversation, or this is the feeling that it comes to, is like, man, my only value is that check. And oh, by the way, if there is a father who's faithfully doing that, who's faithfully supporting his kids in multiple ways, including financially, odds are the kids don't know that check's coming through, and they don't know how much it is. And I don't care how much it is. I don't care if it's $100 a month. Either way, if you don't want it, send it back. But I have not seen one of them come back in the mail, put it that way. And it's been a hot minute. And so to honor men who are fathers, especially good fathers, especially fathers who are present, fathers who are there, fathers who are not, bad guys, abusive, or, whatever. I'm talking like literally, physically abusive and things like that. Man, that's important. And to your point, man, guys supporting other guys, man, wishing other guys happy Father's Day, man. I normally, every Father's Day, I do the same thing with Mother's Day, but every Father's Day I go through my phone and I just scroll, and every guy that I know that's a father, I send them a GIF or a meme or just a little text saying Happy Father's Day. Because you're right, we do need to support each other, man, and especially single dads out there, guys that are that are supporting their kids in multiple ways, including financially.
Yeah, it's sad that most dads feel like just a paycheck, and you only hear about dads when the paycheck stops. When they stop sending money, it's the only time you hear about that, whether it's the ex or the kids or whatever. And we don't want to make it like just about money and just about the negative, but come on, let's be honest. Father's Day is not the most celebrated holiday. Usually it's like, what was it, 12th, 15th of all the holidays? It's like down at the bottom of the holidays as far as
after like Arbor Day.
Yeah, like trees get more love than dads do. So we're talking about let's celebrate dads more than the trees. Let's celebrate dad more than wood. Let's celebrate fathers. And for a lot of us, our dads are gone. So take that love that you have for your father and maybe spread that out somewhere else, because, you can send him love in heaven, but maybe that love can be spread out to some guys who need some support right now, who are still here struggling, who are still here doing the best they can to be the best fathers they can, because, we are not expecting a lot, and a little bit goes a long way, because that's how we've been trained. Suck it up, be the pillar, do your job, and, don't complain. And so we do that. But the pressure and the lack of accountability, or not accountability, the lack of appreciation and respect that a lot of guys, especially fathers, are going through is tough. So we're not saying, we don't want to be wham, woe is me, but we're just saying this is the facts of life for a lot of us guys, especially for fathers out there and single fathers. A little appreciation, respect goes a long way. And if they can't get it from their family, then it's time for us to, as guys, man up and start giving it to each other, because, wait, that sounded really bad.
Yeah.
No, give respect to guys who are fathers who are out there doing it, whether you're a dad or not. and show some respect and appreciation, because that goes a long way.
The reality is this counterculture for us to even have this conversation, to honor guys,
Yeah.
to recognize guys, to put. Tell me another place this week where you'll hear a conversation about honoring good men, honoring good fathers. You know, there are fathers out there who are doing their best and to make ends meet. There are fathers out there that are doing their absolute best to keep some support coming. You know, I mean, and to your point, you know, I think the court system can be kind of slanted. I think it's getting better, but it can be kind of slanted, because if I stop paying child support, man, I go to jail. I mean, my driver's license get taken, all that other kind of stuff. But if I lose out on parenting time, meaning if all of a sudden she says, nope, you ain't seeing your kids no more, I have no repercussions but to go hire a lawyer, to go back to court, to bring her to court to say, hey, how come you can't have it? So it is kind of slanted. So this is counterculture to even have these kind of conversations, to honor men and to honor fathers. And to, you know, you were, man, right, spot on to talk about the fact that most of us didn't get raised by a good, healthy, solid man in our life. Most of us were raised by women, so we don't even know what we're doing. So we out here doing the best that we can. We got no baseline for anything. I mean, but we out here just doing the best that we can. And quite honestly, men, we deserve to be honored. We deserve to be honored, particularly on Father's Day, for those of us that are even halfway decent fathers.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, most of us who didn't have that great example, who are in that position, are doing our best to not perpetrate that same example. So they're even if they don't know what they're doing, they're reading, they're learning, they're going to groups, they're trying to figure it out. And speaking of figuring it out, I think it's time to figure out a break. Let's take a break. Mad Men of Masculinity on KLTC, 1220 AM in the Mile High City. We'll be right back.
Man, I was going to say something. You cut me off.
See now you know how it feels.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
You gotta be messing with me, man.
I'm telling you, man, this kind of conversation will tick people off.
It is. Yeah.
Like, you know, wait a minute. How dare you honor men? How dare you lift up men?
How dare you honor fathers? Because mothers are everything. Well, we see how that's going in society.
I mean, you know, we don't honor fathers, then we blame them for being absent.
Yeah. So
why? Duh. I mean, that don't make no sense. If we didn't honor moms, you know, then wouldn't it be the same thing?
Yeah. Don't honor mom and see what happens.
Right. Go get that switch. Go get that switch off. And you bet not bringing a small one either. Bet not bringing a small switch. Because I go get one. Get a branch. Mad Men of Masculinity.
KLDC.
1220 AM.
In the Mile High City.
And on the interwebs.
Everywhere.
We didn't even script that, dude.
Oh, man. See, that's how good we are.
We are sick with it, dude. I mean, for real. Like, we didn't even script that. We just roll like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's the way it is.
Talking about Father's Day. Hey, I got a challenging thing I want to put out there.
Challenging?
I got a challenge.
Are you challenging me? Or
I got a
challenge
to you. I got a challenge to everybody out there.
Uh-oh. It's
I brought
on
this
now.
up a couple weeks ago, and I'm going there, man.
Uh-oh.
I'm like Rod Tidwell. I go across the middle. You know what I'm saying? I'm a sun devil, man. I can go across the middle. I see a dude coming to me, trying to kill me. I catch it. I tell myself, catch the ball. Get killed. Touchdown. I make miracles happen. All right, I'm going across the middle. Here we go. Here's my challenge. My challenge to you and to everyone out there. Forgive your father. Forgive him. Forgive your father. Forgive you. I've been hurt by mine a whole lot. And he died 26 years ago. And I can't even talk to him. I can't even walk up to him and punch him in the face right now. Like, I can't. Like, if I wanted to rage, if I wanted to go, you know, do something to him, I couldn't. Man is dead and gone. He's been gone for over a quarter century. I have no choice but to forgive him. Because if I don't, it's going to hold me back from being everything that I could be.
Yeah, I mean, forgiveness isn't really about letting them off the hook. Forgiveness is about letting yourself off the hook. And if you want to get out of judgment and you don't know enough about your father, maybe ask him questions, because most of the time forgiveness comes from, or a lack of forgiveness comes from a lack of information. Like, if you don't know what your father struggled with, you don't know why he, you know, whether it's environmental, whether it's, you know, societal, whether it was his upbringing, whatever the reasons are, everybody has a reason for what they do. And a lot of times our judgments just hold us in prison. It's not doing anything to that person. You can be as angry as you want to be at somebody, but they don't feel that anger you do. So letting go of that judgment, and usually having more information will allow you to forgive easier, because when you understand why somebody was the way they were, when you understand their background, and then it makes more sense. Okay, well, I can forgive because now I understand better why he was the way he was, instead of just being like, why you this way? I don't understand. Well, obviously you don't understand. More information makes forgiveness easier, and for nothing else than to let yourself off the hook, because when you're carrying that heavy weight of judgment, the heavy weight of resentment on your shoulders, it does nothing but hold you down. It's not hurting that person at all, especially if they've passed on. If they've passed on, it's totally up to you to learn to forgive and to let go of all those judgments, because it's too late for them. It's on you.
I used to hate my name because my father, we have the same name, different middle name, same middle initial. Either way, when I look down at his tombstone, I see my name. And I used to hate my name because of that, because of him, because of abuse in our household, because of abuse towards me. Just all of the emotional baggage, all of the trauma, all that stuff that I can't let go of, that makes me part of who I am, not necessarily in a good way. I used to hate him, man. I mean, I literally, I got memories, visceral memories that I could bring up from moments and instances. And I used to hate the guy. So therefore, and then when I became a dad, I hated Father's Day. I hated Father's Day because of what it represented, because I had to somehow contradict me being a father with the father that I had. Somehow I had to put myself between the curse of the father that came before me and the blessing that I wanted to pass on as a father. And so I hated Father's Day. And every year I had deep issues with Father's Day. And it wasn't until I really got to the point where, to your point, I learned, I found out that, my father, I found out, but I also reflected on the fact that he was raised by a single mom who was a raging alcoholic. She was great by the time I came along. I loved me some Grandma Alice, right? But I didn't know about, how she was back when they were young. He was SA'd when he was, young, and so the guy spent his 18th birthday in Vietnam. 18th birthday in Vietnam. He had got arrested, and they basically said, you can go to prison or you can go to Vietnam. And he ended up going to Vietnam. But his 18th birthday, and he came back with all kinds of baggage from all of that, right? And then he came back 100% disabled. I say all that to say that one of the most freeing things that I think that I've done in my life was to forgive him. To forgive him. Obviously, I can't tell him, but to forgive him in my heart, and just accept the fact that he probably did the best that he could do by the time I came along with the cards that he was dealt in life. Yeah. He probably did the best that he could do. Just like I probably surely did the best I can do, even through all of my faults as a father. And all I can do is to, try to step in between, like I said, the past and the present and the future. Allow my present to be a pivot from my past to my future, and to try my best to love my kids, and to, if nothing else, I got a son that we ended up adopting, and he's been part of this show, and he's been my hero lately, all the stuff that he's doing, and just to pass that along to him, and just to share all those things, and just to be real. But forgiving my father was absolutely huge, and I have every reason in the world not to. But that, to your point, man, that made the difference for me, and that also made a difference for my son to this point.
Yeah, if you don't forgive, if you don't take the time to learn, then you're just going to repeat. You're just going to take that on, and then you're going to end up, if you don't want to repeat whatever influence your father had in your life, then forgiveness is the key to not repeat it, because you got to look back on the past. And I had to do the same thing. I had to ask questions I didn't want to ask. I had to hear stories I didn't want to hear, to find out, okay, well, my father did the best he could with what he had, and his training was much worse than mine. His upbringing was much worse than mine. His experiences were much worse than mine. So it made sense why he did the best he could, and he focused on the things he knew he could control. He didn't have a really emotionally supportive upbringing, so he didn't feel like he could be emotionally supportive. Or maybe he didn't even think about it. He's like, look, I'm paying for the house, I'm paying for the clothes, you got a roof over your head, like you're taken care of, you're good. So he focused on the things that he could take care of. And so it's up to me, is it incumbent on me as an adult now to go, okay, he did the best he could and he focused on what he knew he could control, which most of us do as men. If we don't know how to do something, a lot of times we ignore that and focus on the things we can do. And so, coming with Father's Day being here and coming up, appreciate the men for what they do, not for what they don't do. Because a lot of times the only reason they're not doing that is because they're afraid of messing it up or they don't have any experience in that way. So they're operating with the tools they got. If all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. But most men are wired that way. We're going to do what we can with what we have. And when you learn about your fathers or other men in your lives past, you will learn why they are the way they are. And then you can forgive and you can maybe gain some appreciation for all the things they did accomplish in your life, in their life, with their limited tool set. Because there are a lot of guys out there who aren't complaining, who aren't, shouting from the rooftops that I'm traumatized or I didn't get this or I didn't get that. They're just doing the best they can and sucking it up. And we as other people, we as other men, we as Americans should appreciate what it is they can do, because we don't know their past. And I don't remember the exact quote, but if you learned everything about every person you saw on the street, you would fall down on your knees in awe and wonder that they're still doing what they're doing, because most of us have a horror story in our past, and we keep judging people through these limited, small-minded criteria. We've got to give people some grace, give men some grace. It's Father's Day coming up, and show them some appreciation. It goes a long way because you don't know what he's struggling through.
Yeah, I mean, and man, that's profound right there in terms of just asking people their story and finding out their story and finding out how and why they became who and what they are or they were. And it's not until we find out, what kind of shoes people are wearing that we can see, we can see kind of the path that they've taken in life. And if you ask a lot of men, I know a lot of women. I would bet you way more than 51 out of 100. I bet you at least 80 something, if not 90 something women out of 100 have been hurt by a man.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you, like in some kind of real tangible way. Like I bet you that's a very real statistic, that if you ask 100 women, by far, at least 80 plus would say yes, they have some significant wound caused by a man.
But it goes both ways.
I bet you if you asked 100 men, you would probably find roughly around the same number who would say they have a significant wound inflicted upon them by a man. And so why do I say that? I say that because we are to some degree doing the best with what we have. We operate through the same wounds. We have to overcome a lot of the same wounds, but we don't give men credit for overcoming those same wounds. We don't give men credit for even hearing the stories. We don't even want to hear culturally men's stories of adversity and of all the different things they've been through and all that kind of stuff. We are very open to being empathetic and sympathetic, I think, to the female narrative, but guys have like a pivotal narrative. Again, I come back to the fact that when you look at all of these mass casualties that happen in America, it's a male doing it. It's a male doing it. I mean, men are hurting these days because we're not acknowledging where are you, where are you coming from, what do you have, what did you come through to get here at this moment. And so again, back to the whole point of, for me, I think forgiving my father, understanding his story, really sinking in and really hearing his story, not even from him, but just hearing his story in my heart, really kind of opened my eyes. He died at 46. His father died at 46. The father before him died before 46. I think I would not be alive here today at 50 had I not forgiven him before my 47th birthday.
Yeah, and if you want another challenge for this Father's Day, ask your father or a father in your circle their story. Because even to Kirk's point, yes, probably 85, 90% of men have been hurt by men. But I guarantee you that same number, maybe even more, those men have been hurt by women and nobody knows anything about it. Because we're not allowed to talk about any emotional manipulation, any emotional damage, any kind of poking and prodding and things that we get from women. We're just supposed to suck it up. And so that's why we're saying Father's Day needs to be kind of put on a higher pedestal and put on a higher priority list, because when you actually understand what that man is going through, when you actually understand what he has been through, when you actually ask him questions, there are so many men out there who have not been asked, how's your day? How are you? And really meant, like, nobody asked, nobody cares. There's so many, I mean, go on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever you want to, and you can find a million stories of men going, well, who do I talk to when I'm struggling? Nobody, because nobody cares. So we're asking for this Father's Day, for other men, for families to look at their fathers or look at the men in their lives who are fathers and just ask them about their story. Ask them how they are. Ask them, what they've been through. Because allowing that steam, allowing that weight, allowing the man to express himself to you is the greatest gift you can give any man, because you don't know. And I mean, to Kirk's point with the mass shootings and all the tragedies that happen because of men, those men had no support and went so far and got stuck in their head so far that they thought that was the only recourse. That was the only way out. We're saying maybe we can stop some of that by talking to men and fathers and acknowledging them, giving them some respect, giving some appreciation, and asking about who they are and how they are.
Hurt men don't just hurt men. Hurt men don't even just hurt people. Hurt men hurt a lot of people. When a man breaks and when he lashes out, groups of people suffer, right? And so I mean, and that's just kind of the nature of the beast, if you will. And I think it's a testament to the dragon that we slay inside of us, that we carry inside of us, that we hope to slay inside of us. And so we need to begin to do this thing. We need to begin to support men. We need to begin to find out some stories and to honor men. And this Father's Day is a great opportunity to do that. Here's an opportunity
to take a break.
Let's take a break. Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC, 1220 AM. We'll be right back. Boom. We found a way to go deep.
I'm not going to touch that.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
God, I'm so glad we get these little breaks, y'all, because if we didn't let off some of that steam but off the air, we'd lose it. That's what she said.
That's what she said. I'm not going to touch that. And we go deep. All right, here we go. Let's wrap this thing up. Yeah, your boys are back.
We're back.
We are back. We are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
That's us.
We are on KLDC.
That is.
We are on 1220 AM in the Mile High City.
And that's free, y'all.
And we're also on the interwebs everywhere.
Everywhere.
People listen to a podcast. We're probably out there somewhere on Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. Look us up, madmenradio.com.
Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon.
It costs you nothing to just like hit the subscribe button. And,
nothing.
I mean, help a brother. You ain't pay nothing to get this.
Help your boys out.
You ain't. I mean, for real, nothing. No, just hit this. You can unsubscribe later if you want.
Yeah, we're paying to entertain you at this point.
I mean, just hit the subscribe button, man. It don't hurt. It don't kill nobody. Like, share all that kind of good stuff.
Now let's talk about for Father's Day slaying dragons. Because you brought up a point before the last break that I don't think most people, even men nowadays, would even consider. Because we always talk about as men going out and slaying the dragon. What dragon? We don't realize that most of the time slaying that dragon is slaying the internal dragon. It's keeping that internal dragon under control, keeping what it is that we're not allowed to be as men under control, and going out into the world and functioning, being functioning addicts or, functioning alcoholics or being, functioning mentally challenged men. There's so many things. There's so much weight on the man's shoulders nowadays that is not acknowledged. It's just expected. And that turns into that dragon internally that every man needs to slay and tame to become the best version of himself. But there's so little support. There's so little advocacy for men nowadays. And granted, I see more and more. There's a lot more coming out, and a lot more people are starting to realize that it needs to go both ways when it comes to advocacy and support for men and women. But a lot of guys just aren't even aware that there might be support, there might be help, and they're just white knuckling it, struggling through fighting that internal dragon and trying to be the best, most healthy man they can be out in the world.
I got a suggestion.
Uh-oh.
How about we don't fight these dragons by ourselves?
Ooh, that's a good suggestion.
How about we lock shoulders? You know that scene in 300?
Phalanx.
Where that scene in 300, he goes, whatever comes around this corner, if we stick together, I mean, how about we do that? You don't see a firefighter going into a building by himself. You don't see him going in to put out a fire with the hose by himself. Matter of fact, you don't even handle a fire hose by yourself.
Yeah, you try it and see what happens.
I mean, it just doesn't even happen that way. You water the lawn by yourself with a hose, but you don't go in and put out fires with a hose by yourself. And so how about we as men fight these fires together? How about we come together, we honor each other? How about for Father's Day, because guess what, guys? The world ain't coming for us. Like, we got to do it for ourselves. I will tell you that I think women are better at supporting each other than men are better at lifting each other. I'm talking about just the rah, yay, yay, yay. You go, you go, you go. We can do this together kind of thing. So how about for Father's Day, how about we reach out to other guys? How about we create a chain, a domino effect, a guy reaching out to every other guy he knows and saying Happy Father's Day, even if he ain't a father. I mean, because we all, we role model. We roll for each other, next generation, all that kind of stuff. But how about for Father's Day, we reach out to each other and support each other and lift each other up?
Yeah, because like Kirk said, they're not coming for us. They're not out there, and we're hoping that shows like this and topics like this will start making that more commonplace. But it's now up to us guys. We got to start picking each other up by the bootstraps. We got to start supporting each other. And even to Kirk's point, saying Happy Father's Day to somebody who isn't a father doesn't mean they didn't play daddy. Didn't mean they didn't have a girlfriend with kids. Didn't mean they didn't, do the big brother, little brother thing and go out there and do his thing and supporting others in the world and needy children and whatnot. So every man out there over a certain age, for the most part, has been a mentor, has been a father figure, has been a coach, has been somebody who is supporting somebody else. Because, I mean, as men, that's something that's kind of innate in us. We want to hand down. We want to teach. We want to show. I mean, when I used to skateboard and snowboard and stuff like that, like one of the funnest things was finding the new little kid out there and teaching him something and supporting him and passing down that natural, healthy masculinity. It's not happening as much as we would like. So now we're here going, hey, we need to start doing this consciously and supportively to other men, because as men, we need each other. We need to be that force that stands shoulder to shoulder, like Kirk was saying, and is there to fight this battle. And we got to do it together, because they're not coming for us. But the funny thing is, too, when we start to support each other, support naturally comes. It's when we try to do it ourselves, and I'm going to say it again, isolation and separation is nothing but a death sentence. It's a slow death sentence. Got to get out there with your guys, got to get out there and get some support. And once you start supporting other guys and being of support, you're going to get more support. You get back what you put out. So that's where I'm asking you guys, support other fathers as there's Father's Day. And
we totally believe in supporting other guys, working with other guys, partnering with other guys. We had Zach on here from B-Men. B-Men's doing a whole lot of things. We had Jude on here from the Advocate, supporting guys that are going through divorce and all this other kind of stuff, man. And, partnering with people and with organizations and groups who are supporting other guys, and just individually even supporting other guys. But we support, here in Denver, we're supporting our Nuggets, so, and that's okay, and about the champions, right? So, if we support each other, man, and, lift each other up and encourage one another, man. And how can I help you? How can I be there for you? And maybe not even waiting for an invitation, maybe jumping in and encouraging a guy. All it takes, it's free to compliment a guy. It's free to say, hey, man, I like that shirt, or hey, man, whatever, or, I see you, or whatever it is.
You're killing it today, man.
Whatever it is, man. Like, man, I'm going to go get that golf ball for you, because I saw over there way in the woods where it went.
Well, you got to throw me on the bus, man.
I'm talking about me, man.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, to support other guys, man. I mean, that's a great place to start, because I'm telling you, these dragons breathe fire, man. And the dragon that's inside of us is what I'm talking about. And that fire that dragon breathes, man, is hot, and it's dangerous, and it's huge. And like every other firefighting team, you never go in there alone to fight that fire. And so we got to be able to support one another as we go in to fight these fires, man, and encourage each other.
Yeah, as men, we all have that inner dragon, and having other men around to acknowledge that, hey, I've got that inner dragon too that I'm dealing with, that I'm battling, that I'm trying to tame, is a straight path towards healthy masculinity, is a straight path towards being a more healthy man. Because when we're trying to do it on our own, it makes you nuts. You don't have any outlet. You don't have any way of letting off that steam. And so having other guys around you who get it, because guys get it. I mean, we're all kind of made the same way. We all have our little boxes. We love our nothing box. We have our little things that we like to do, and we get each other. And it's nice to have another man go, man, I got you. I get you. And doing things like walking through your neighborhood and just acknowledging other guys, offering support, some guys, older guys mowing his lawn or something like that. These little things go a long way because we're different. We don't have to have all the emotional, in-depth, detailed conversations like the ladies do to support each other. We can just support each other side by side doing a project. And most of the time, that's how we support each other. We're like a team, side by side, doing something together. And then that camaraderie, that brotherhood that makes us all feel respected, appreciated, and more like men. And so that's why we're harping on it. We're badgering y'all. We're challenging y'all. Support men this Father's Day. Whether they're a father, they're pretending to be a father, they played a father on TV, doesn't matter. Support a man in this world to help him be a better man tomorrow.
Right. And that, again, even that, it doesn't take a whole lot. Just a text to a guy, to acknowledge a guy, to check on him, bro check, how you doing, man? Or especially if you know somebody going through some stuff, man, how you doing? Or, I got your back, man. I'm thinking about you, or whatever it is, keep your head up. How's your courage? Just something like that, just to let a guy know that he's seen, that somebody is, is concerned about him, that he's not out here doing it on his own, that the dragon he's fighting is not, it's not a one-on-one battle. It's a us against it battle. And so to encourage another guy in that way is man, that's a great goal. That's a great opportunity for us, in particular on this Father's Day to do, man. Just to say thanks to another guy. Man. Just thank you, man. I appreciate you out here doing what you do, and I see you.
Yeah, I mean, no team that goes out there without a coach or support system. No guy should be out there without a coach, a support system, a sponsor, a sponsee. I mean, we're here together as brothers, as men, and we need to support each other. And so we can start a movement together as men now where we turn Father's Day into the next big holiday. We can take it from 12th to the top and show that men are valuable, men are important. And no matter what society says, no matter what the narrative says, we have value because it's up to us to keep the infrastructure of the world going. A lot of these issues that we're dealing with in the West would not happen if it wasn't for men creating the stability and the comfort and all the ease of life. If we were out there still doing hunter-gatherer stuff and having to go hunt bears and buffalo and things like that to survive, it'd be a different world. So now it's up to us guys, since we are the infrastructure, we are the ones that hold that foundation down, to support each other while we do that, so that we know we can do this and we can slay that dragon together.
Regardless of how taboo it is, man, regardless of how counterculture it is, to encourage another guy, to lift up other guys. Like, we're not in competition for nothing. Guys know that. I mean, especially after those of us get past a certain age, like, man, I ain't compete with no dude for nothing. Man, if you win, I win. Like, cool. Help me help you kind of thing, man. Back to Jerry Maguire. But it's like, I don't even, I'm okay if another guy just gets ahead, man, because I know how hard it is to be a dude out here these days, man. I know how hard it is to just kind of be seen as extra. We don't need y'all no more, and all this other, and just to feel marginalized until something goes down. Yeah. We just to be seen as just kind of the facilitator of things, but not the appreciator of anything, or to be appreciated for anything.
Yeah, that's something we should do. Instead, get out of this competitive mindset. That's good in your teens and your 20s, gentlemen. Once you get into adulthood, it's time to start celebrating each other, celebrating each other's wins. Because it's like Zig Ziglar said, the best way to get what you want is to help others get what they want. So it's time to start appreciating men, celebrating their wins as other men. Stop competing against each other, and I guarantee you, your life's going to get better.
And supporting one another. There's no such thing as some, this long-standing, the patriarchy, this, the patriarchy, that. There was a time in our culture, there was a time in our history where, but women are winning.
Mm-hmm.
They've
been one.
I'm okay with saying that. Like, it's not a bad time. I'm not saying there's no adversity, no hardships, and all that kind of stuff, but man, women are supporting each other. Women are doing their thing. Women are empowering each other and all those kinds of things. And so, there's not a whole lot of places where women can't go and women can't have a voice in our culture. And I think it's okay for men to also be supported, uplifted, encouraged, and all that kind of stuff. And I think on Father's Day, it's a great opportunity for ladies, find a man around you who's a father, thank him. Men, guys that are out here doing their thing, that are trying to do the best that they can support them as well. Just let them know you appreciate them and wish them happy Father's Day.
Yeah, to all the fathers out there, we appreciate you. To all the soon-to-be fathers, we appreciate you. To all the fathers that have been, we appreciate you. We respect you. We thank you for everything that you've done. And we hope in the future Father's Day is going to be a much better holiday for all of us. But until next time, Mad Men out.